Welcome into Around the Felt. We have a post-combine mock draft coming your way, the 7th iteration of a 2026 NFL mock draft on the channel. And joining me tonight, we got my co-host Reagan, as always, and Nick Walmart, longtime fan of the show, has done draft content with us the past 2 seasons. So we're pumped to get Walmart back on for a mock draft. Nick, how you doing, sir? Appreciate you jumping on.
Great, fellas. Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to get going. Another year, another draft. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, we did mock draft 5.0 and 6.0 been cooking. I believe both have hit 4,000 views, but the combine really shook things up this past few days. So we felt like it was time to come on and do 7.0 and keep it rolling. Reagan, you ready to rock?
Dude, I am so unbelievably ready to rock. Mock draft 7.0. I'm ready to overreact after the combine. Are you kidding me? Let's get overreacting, boys. It's Super Bowl Sunday here for us and our terrible franchises. But, let's get ready to overreact.
Yeah, all of our teams are in the top 7, so it should be to kick us off. And make sure, if you hate the pick, you love the pick, drop a comment. We've had a lot of banter back and forth on these videos, so we appreciate that. Make sure you're subscribed, drop a like, and without further ado, let's get into it. Nick Walmart, you're on the clock, number 1 with the Raiders, and we're going to alternate every 3 picks.
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer here, fellas. It's going to be Fernando Mendoza every time, twice on Sunday. Talk about a guy that just has a great head on his shoulders, sneaky athletic. But when it comes down to the quarterback position, I think of a guy that can make any throw on the accuracy side of things, and then a guy that's going to be a great leader and just a great culture guy to bring into a locker room that might not have the best culture out there in the league. So let's go ahead and take Fernando Mendoza with the first pick of the draft.
Bold,
easy.
But I like it.
Easy one.
All right, so I'll be doing number 2 in this mock draft, so I get my New York Jets. How fun! For this iteration, I'm gonna go David Bailey. Listen, I know, he just tested off the charts with his 40-yard dash, looking so fast, and the production was there at Texas Tech. He was the big difference maker on the defense. Well, him and obviously Martinez as well, and Lee Hunter, they obviously had a stacked D, but this guy was just a beast with the sacks. And then the Jermaine Johnson trade makes it that much more likely now that this team is going to go out and address the edge position and get Will McDonald as running mate. So that's where I'm going. I'm going David Bailey for this iteration of the mock.
Nice, man. I like it. David Bailey definitely feels like he's in play with a 4.5. His change of directions drills in the combine weren't ideal, but he is a big fucking dude, so I can absolutely see him going number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think Arvel Reese is the clear pick there for me, just if I'm the Jets, just because of his freakish athleticism. But David Bailey was also an absolute stud all year, so you can't go wrong there, honestly.
Yeah. Listen, I've gone Reese in a couple different mock drafts, but I wanted to go a different route here. But I think Reese is the most likely pick, but I had to switch it up. Those are my top 2 guys right now for them to take at that spot, though.
Well, that's fine with me, man, because I'm sitting here with the Cardinals, and I'm going to take Arvel Reese at number 3 here. I mean, the guy ran, a 4.46. I mean, he put on a crazy performance at the combine. We already know he's going to go in the at least top 4, in my opinion. I think there's no way he gets the Giants at 5. So Arvel Reese, I mean, come on. He's going to convert to the edge here for the Cardinals. They need help in the pass rushing department for sure, despite the acquisitions they made last offseason in Josh Sweat and Walter Nolan. But that just feels like an easy pick for me here for the Cardinals. I know offensive tackles been mocked here often. I think they're going to be big players for a right tackle in the free agency market. I know they're linked to Jermaine Illuminor a little bit. So I guess it depends on what they get at quarterback for what type of tackle they want. But I did see Spencer Fano's arms came in pretty freaking short at the combine, like 17th percentile, which is not ideal. I just don't think that's a guy you're going to take at number 3 here for Arizona when you are staring at Arvel Reese in the face.
Yeah, totally fair. I mean, a question for you, if depending on how the quarterback situation shakes out, do you think there's any chance they go to the offensive side outside of O-line? Is there any way they go with a weapon?
Dude, this is where Jeremiah Love comes into play. I think Jeremiah Love could absolutely go top 5. And I don't think people are mocking him there right now enough. And that was tempting for me, but I'm going to go with Arvel Reese in this instance. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they go wide receiver, of course. Could be a tackle, but I don't know. Illuminor is more of a pass pro guy. He's not like a mauler in the run game. But if you sign Malik Willis, who's going to be running around, he could scramble. Maybe you don't have that big of a need for a pass protecting tackle. You get someone that helps a little bit more in the running game. So that's kind of where my head's at.
Love it.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something if Love went to the Cardinals there at 3? I mean, it was pretty clear, down the stretch they could not run the ball once James Conner went out.
No,
at
dude.
all. Outside
Nope.
of DeMarcado, but even him,
And you can't rely on Trey
great.
Benson right now.
No, not at all. He is a bust. Well, or yes, not really a bust, but not what you thought he'd be.
Jury's still out. Yeah.
Jury is definitely out.
All right, fellas. We got the first trade of the mock.
Oh, we got a
wow.
trade, baby. I
We got
love
the
it.
first trade of the mock. Yep. We're gonna have Cincinnati come up from 10 to trade up with Tennessee at 4.
Wow.
They're gonna be giving up the 10 and then this year's second rounder and next year's second rounder to Tennessee, who needs all the help they can get in the draft, as many picks as they can get to just bolster up both sides of the ball.
Wow.
And for a team like Cincinnati that has a very good offense in place, but has one of the worst defenses in the entire NFL, we just saw an absolute freak of nature during the NFL Combine.
You dirty
And right
dog.
before the New York Giants,
No.
the Cincinnati Bengals come in and take Sonny Styles from Ohio State.
Wow.
That's fucked up. Oh, no, man. Come on. My Giants want them bad.
Wow. That is wow. That's
Look,
boom.
I think
Hey,
it's just the defense that needs help in every single facet of their team, all 3 levels. And Sonny Styles is a guy that can go sideline to sideline. Is just like we saw, an absolute athletic freak of nature, and he's going to bolster up that defense significantly.
Dude, I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. Sonny Styles.
I love
Yeah, I think
that.
he's a lock for top 5, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Damn. All right, Walmart. Well, you're making it hard for my buddies Giants here at 5 because
I know.
their guy just went. That's all right though. Something they definitely need is a run. No, now you know what? I was gonna go Downs, but the more I think about it, I don't mind the Holland Newbin back there. I'm gonna go with. See,
Tough,
I'm going
right?
back and. It's tough because I would love to go Downs, but I don't think they need to go safety there. Like, I'm fine with what they have on the back end there. You know what? For this iteration, I am going to go with a wide receiver here. I am going to go with Carnell Tate for the Giants.
Wow.
You can go a couple different routes here, but what I ultimately think is you need to give Jackson Dart the maximum weapons possible. We don't know what Malik Neighbors' recovery will look like and what iteration we'll get of him. At this point, we know Wan'Dale Robinson is a free agent. I feel pretty confident in the fact that he's going to be leaving. I think he'll price himself out with New York after, a major season for him. So why not go out and get the best receiver in the draft at Ohio State, a guy in Carnell Tate, give Jackson Dart, similar to what we see with Joe Burrow and the Bengals, 2 of the top, weapons potentially in the league in the future, in Malik Neighbors and Carnell Tate.
So you're not concerned about the 4.5? What was it? 4.52 he ran. He didn't.
No.
Some scouts had him sub 4.5 in the 4.4s, but official combine, it's a 4.5 guy. You're not concerned about the speed?
No, I mean, dude, look at the best, debatable wide receiver in the league right now, Puka Nacua. Obviously, he slipped, but he was never projected at that point to be, a top pick. So I'm not worried about the speed at all. We see guys have terrible combines. I'm not going to hold it against him. I think the production speaks for itself at one of the top schools in the league. So give me Carnell Tate.
All right, valid. I like it.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot, dude. I mean, how can you go wrong with the Ohio State wide receiver ever?
No, dude, it
no.
rarely fails. Rarely fails.
Yeah.
All right, Cleveland Browns here. I'm on the clock. This is an easy pick for me. I'm going to go Francis Mauigoa, the offensive tackle out of Miami. He's my favorite tackle in this class. His measurables just came in from the combine a few hours ago, and it's very comparable to Penei Sewell's in terms of height, weight, arm length. And he checked the box in terms of arm length and what he needs to stick at tackle. I absolutely think he could stick at right tackle in the league, but the absolute worst case is I think he's going to be a dominant guard. And we know the Browns are sending their whole starting offensive line to free agency. So they're going to have to rebuild this entire operation for whoever's playing quarterback. That offense was brutal. The defense is great. Let's add in Francis Mauigoa. I think he'll reinforce some of the moves they make in free agency.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I mean, listen, we've talked about it. Their whole entire offensive line is free agents, so they have to do it. And I guess you're kind of taking it from, the combine of him and, some of the measurables between him and Fano.
Yes. Yes.
That's kind
Fano,
of the
yeah.
difference maker for you at 6 now is moving
I kind
him
of
up.
liked Francis better from the start, to be honest. But just seeing how they're looking at the combine, the arm length, I'm sticking to my guns, and I'm gonna have Francis be my number 1 guy.
All right, fair.
Yeah, I mean, if Shador's your guy, if he's going into next year, regardless of who your guy is, you got to find a way to protect him. It doesn't really matter. So, especially if it's a young guy like Shador. So, I love the pick.
Hell yeah! All right, we got the Commanders, man.
Yes, sir. There's a few routes the Commanders can go here for sure. We need a lot of help on defense, but you can never go wrong with, providing some weapons for your stud quarterback. But I think there's a guy staring at me in the face that's just too good to pass up on. So give me Caleb Downs out of Ohio State University.
Love it.
That was what I was expecting from you, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, look, I like Will Harris. He dealt with a little bit of injury last year. And I think Quan Martin's actually going to thrive a little bit more under the new coaching structure of Durante Jones coming from that Brian Flores system. But Caleb Downs is just too good. I think he might be the best player in the entire draft. Him, Sonny Styles, potentially. So yeah, Jeremiah loves sitting there looking at me in the face, but give me Caleb Downs. He's going to be a stud, and you know it.
Okay. Can't go wrong with that, man. Can't go wrong with Caleb Downs.
Wow. Yeah. Listen, I mean, you think Washington and that Dan Quinn defense, and just looking back at Dan Quinn, he's always had, an elite safety, or a guy that's really been a difference maker in that back end. Keon O'Neal comes to mind and what he did in Atlanta, and then trying to bring him over to Dallas as well. So I'm sure he'll use him in very, very fun ways if that's how it works out. Are you down for that situation to happen?
I mean, look, give me Sonny Styles. Yeah, give me Sonny Styles. But I'll take Caleb Downs as the consolation. That's for sure. That is for sure.
All right, so I'm on the clock with the Saints. A big need for them is guard. They're not going to stick around. They're not trading back. They're staying pat. They're making sure they get their guard to build up on that offensive line. We've seen them invest heavily we've seen them invest heavily on offensive tackles the past 2 drafts. Obviously, they get Fuaga in 2024 and then Kelvin Banks Jr. last year in 2025. They're going to go out and get a guard to put on their line and keep Tyler Shuck upright.
Wow.
In my opinion, the best guard in this draft class. Give me Vega Ioane.
Wow.
Vega. That might be a reach.
Dude.
Wow.
That might be a reach. It might be a reach, but listen, I think he's going to continue to go up and up the draft boards. Maybe I would have them trade back. Maybe, but I don't think they want to risk it, dude. I think they want to continue to build up that offensive line. I don't think they need to go and get Jeremiah Love here. I think there's a good enough free agency class that they can go out and get potentially a Breece Hall or a Kenneth Walker. And Kamara's still under contract. So regardless, he probably doesn't have much more left, but I don't think they need to spend a premium pick on a running back here. Yeah, they could have gone Ruben Bain or maybe gone with another wide receiver to pair with Olave, but no, I'm gonna go and have them shore up the offensive line for years to come.
Wow, dude. Pairing
Crazy,
him next
right?
to Kelvin Banks, and you're like, damn, the Saints' left side of the offensive line could be set for a decade.
What do you guys think? Is that a reach or no?
Yeah,
I think...
dude, you know what? It's crazy. I mean, Booker went 12th last year to Dallas, and that felt high. And, you could argue Vega's a better prospect than Booker was. I don't think it's out of this world crazy. I could see it happening.
I mean, listen, we saw Quentin Nelson go. I mean, obviously he's a better prospect, but we've seen Quentin Nelson, Zach Martin. We've seen guards drafted way earlier than 8. So,
yeah, I think if in that situation, if they saw the board fall the way that it did and it looked like that, they didn't want to go Love, I could see them as a trade back candidate for sure. Even one spot potentially getting a little extra capital from the Chiefs and say like, hey, look, we're going to take Love if you guys don't jump us here. And then ultimately get Vega regardless. But honestly, I don't hate the pick. I don't. I think protecting your young quarterback is always a good decision to make. Always.
Yeah.
Love it. Thanks, boys. Thanks, boys.
Can't go wrong. All right. I got the Chiefs here at 9. I mean, God damn it. The last one, we went Jeremiah Love here, and Chiefs fans are like, no, they're not going to take a running back when their wide receiver 1 might go to jail. And, they're not going to pass on Ruben Bain. And I'm like, Well, Ruben Bain just had the second shortest arm length of an edge player since '99, and the other one's also in this draft, Cassius Howell, who like dominated the SEC, right? Like, I don't know. To me, dude, I'm gonna go Jeremiah Love. They are clearly want Jeremiah Love, in my opinion. Like all the smoke coming out from the combine and talks is, yeah, they're looking in the running back market. Pacheco's as good as gone. Kareem Hunt's just not good. Let's be honest. They need to support Patrick Mahomes coming off the ACL. The defense is not the problem. The offense used to be elite and amongst the most explosive in all of football. And now it just isn't, right? So to get back to that, I think Jeremiah Love's is the guy. And he stayed after the combine yesterday, after running back drills, and was running routes with the receivers. Like, people just don't think of him as a running back. Think of him like a weapon, like how the Falcons use Bijan Robinson, where he lines up in the slot and you have Algier in the backfield, right? Or think about McCaffrey, where he can line up out wide. Like, that's what Jeremiah Love is. He's a weapon. So I think it's warranted to take him here with the Chiefs. And I mentioned it in the last pod too. But now you're dropping in a stud star back on a 5-year rookie deal where all of his carries through his prime are going to be in a championship window for his team.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. I think the scariest part about the Kansas City Chiefs having pick number 9 is that right there. Is Jeremiah Love falling to them, and they get arguably the best player in the draft, offensive player in the draft, and just like that, they're picking at 31-32 next year.
All right, dude, it's an absolute home run. And, like, honestly, I want the Giants to move back from 5 to 9 and the Chiefs move up. I think there's a chance they move up and jump the Commanders and the Saints for them.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, the Commanders are definitely a possibility. I've even been hearing, like, don't rule out Tennessee. I know they still
Tennessee at 4, yeah, if they don't move.
But, you know, I've been hearing a lot of buzz, too, that you can't rule them out. And I guess you guys aren't even wrong either. Like, Arizona at 3, which I guess you can't really say it's too rich. I mean, we've seen Saquon go at 2, Leonard Fournette go at 4, Zeke at 4. So we've seen plenty of running backs go top 5 over the past, 10 years. So can't rule it out.
Yep.
Well, Tom mentioned home runs. And I think this is as home run of a scenario as it could have gotten for the Tennessee Titans, getting extra capital, trading back, and still getting Ruben Bain Jr.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh.
For sure.
I don't think
Titans
Robert
fans,
Saleh is
how about
worried
that?
one bit. He's not worried one bit about those arms. He says, look at the tape, throw it on the projector, let me get the stud.
Yeah.
No questions.
Yeah, he's a tank. He's got a crazy motor. He makes some ridiculous plays on tape. He's got grown man strength, like that's for sure. He's got the short arms, fine. He's still going to be an animal in the run game regardless, and for the Titans, you pick up 2 second-round picks and you move back to 10 and still get Ruben Bain.
Sign me up.
Yeah, that's a home run, man. That'd be a big win for the Titans. The franchise that desperately needs something good like this to happen to him.
Yeah, and then you get to pair him with Jermaine Johnson, and you have your edge. Because you got to think they're going to pay Jermaine Johnson. They wouldn't have traded for him on the last year of his deal. So you then have your edge rusher tandem set up for at least a couple of years now. So I like that a lot in that scenario, and I think Bob Saleh will like that a lot as well.
Good old Bob.
Bob Saleh. All right, so I'm on the clock with the Dolphins. I was going back and forth about a couple different scenarios here, but I kind of want to blow up the draft and do something crazy here.
Oh, as if you taking Vega didn't do that.
Listen, man, I call me crazy, but I think Tua's done. I think they're taking Ty Simpson to be their quarterback. Yeah, why not? Why not? Listen.
No.
I think I think it's very possible. Like, all the stuff I'm hearing out of Miami is they might just give up on Tua, release him. It's going to be a ton of dead cap money. Like, I heard like $90 million in dead cap if they release him after this year. Nobody's going to trade for that and take that on. And I don't think Miami wants to give up picks. This is going to be a losing season for the Dolphins, a very bad season for the Dolphins, but at least try to get a quarterback in there that could be the future. Clearly last time it worked out with the Bama quarterback, but no, jokes aside, like, I think you can bring in Ty Simpson on a rebuilding team right away and, let him try to compete out of the gates, bring in a veteran as well. Yeah, exactly. No, Quinn Ewers, I have no worry about him at all. So I think they'll bring in a veteran quarterback to maybe be the bridge to start, but I think there's a very good possibility that they let Tua go because I can't imagine anyone's going to trade for him with that contract, and I don't think Miami wants to trade him and give up picks to move him.
Wow, dude. Dolphins fans are gonna flame the heck out of you in the
I
comments.
was saying right
imagine.
now. I was saying, you guys hear that? The riots coming from Miami right now. Yeah, that
I
place
think
is
they'd be
burning
pissed.
down.
Hey,
Hey.
you bring up a good point though, Reagan, where yeah, they're probably just gonna release Tua because there's all these teams that have these bloated contracts for quarterbacks like Tua, Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins that are all gonna get released because no one's gonna trade for them, I don't think.
No.
And they're already getting paid by those other teams. So then they could sign for like league minimum salaries if they wanted to on a new team, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's gonna happen with Tua. I think he's just gonna get cut loose. Just like maybe Kyler Murray fetches like a late pick just so a team like makes sure they get him. So it's not just open negotiations. But yeah, I think Tua is as good as gone in Miami. So
And listen, I know it's spicy, boys. I know it's
I
spicy,
love it.
but if you're
I love it.
releasing Tua, it's going to be tough. It's a tough pill to swallow when you have all that money in dead cap, and then it's like, oh, like do we want to go and pay Malik Willis, who's going to fetch like a crazy contract? Like I think I've been hearing like 30-40 million as the top free agent. Probably not. You probably don't want to pay him. So that's the thing you got to think is I feel like Miami has to address the quarterback position in the draft. Like they have no other options. Sure, could Ty Simpson fall? Yeah, sure. Could they trade back? Yes. But do you guarantee yourself a quarterback by trading back? And I think it's pretty clear that it's Fernando Mendoza, then it's Ty Simpson, and that's like a big gap. Like, but after that, like it's a massive gap. Like there's no number 3 quarterback that you're confident taking really in round 1, let alone round 2. Maybe round 3, but it's a bad quarterback class. So are you going to mess around and trade back and hope you get it later? Probably not.
I agree. If you think he's the guy, you go get him. Like that's the reality. We see it year over year in the NFL. I mean, look at even someone like Shuck last year, even though it was not in the first round. It's like no one expected the Saints to go do that, or maybe even Dart with the Giants, right? Like if you think he's the guy, go get him. So at 11, if he ends up being your franchise quarterback for the next 10 years, no one's going to be calling him to reach.
Yeah,
listen, it's a great point.
We had to switch it up too. I think we've mocked them a cornerback every single draft. So
Yeah.
we got to look at some other scenarios for the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's always a corner. It's always one of Delane or McCoy for Miami. So hey, it's nice. And Ty Simpson is clearly the QB2 of this class. It's There's no chance anyone surpasses him, in my opinion, at this point in time. All right, the Dallas Cowboys here at 12. I think the board actually fell pretty well for them. Seeing Vega and Ty Simpson go in front of them, it's pretty awesome. Because they don't need guard. They went Booker 12th last year, and they don't need quarterback. So the number 1 corner just kind of fell in their lap here. They'll have their choice of McCoy or Delane. I'm going to go Delane here. I think Jerry Jones has come out and said he's not interested in drafting guys that are more developmental players or projects. Not that McCoy is, but I think kind of his message is it's go time. As in, he's saying he's going to spend more money in free agency this year, and they did some restructures and cleared up cap space. So for me, I don't think they take the corner coming off the ACL. I think they take the one that's a cleaner, safer profile, and that is Delane right now. His tape is really damn good. I mean, he's a solid player. LSU corners, it's another position group from a school that usually pans out well. And the Cowboys just need help all across the defense. I think they go with the top corner off the board here, and then maybe they go linebacker or pass rusher later, but I don't have pick 20, so we got to see what my comrades cook up for that.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys need to address the cornerback position. It's pretty clear last year that their back end of the defense and even their linebacker core was just such a weak point for them. I mean, they released Diggs end of the season, so that showed you kind of where they were at. So corner is just a gaping hole for them right now, and that needs to be addressed ASAP.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And Deron Bland, the foot problems too are concerning. So they just really need help in the secondary.
Yeah, I think Delane, in my opinion, Mansoor is the best corner in the draft. I firmly believe it. And honestly, at 13 with the Rams, that was going to be my pick if he was there. So nice little snag.
Yeah, hell yeah, they're right in front of you, dude. That's what you get for jumping my Giants for Sonny Styles.
Fair enough. Yep, fair enough. What I will say is that there's 2 routes I think that the Rams can go at 13, and it really comes down to, do they want to say, hey, look, like let's just get even better at the wide receiver position and go get a guy like Jordan Tyson. Maybe even a guy like Lemon, who knows? But I also look at the history of the Rams. I look at what Sean McVay's had success with at the same time, what they're structured like now. And I look at a guy like Peter Woods, and he jumps off the page to me as a guy that, like, you pair him up with a Braden Fisk on the inside, with Jared Verse on the edge, and you kind of bring that dominance back into your interior D lineman that you had when you won a Super Bowl with Aaron Donald. Give me Peter Woods from Clemson, defensive tackle.
Wow.
And hey, look, fellas, I know you got Emmanuel Forbes starting that corner. You have a problem. But trust me, as a Washington fan, I know that. But I think Peter Woods is too damn good to pass up on. I love his presence on the inside. Let me get Peter Woods.
What's interesting about Woods, man, he was so good in 2024, but he cut down weight. He slimmed down and played lighter in 2025. It didn't have the same production. So I wonder if he's going to beef up back before he heads into the league and get back to that weight that he was in 2024. I think he could be more dominant presence on the interior.
Yeah, I love that. That was not where I was expecting you to go. I'm happy you did because it sets me up for what I'm going to do. But I do like that fit, and that really does bolster that defensive line even more. So
yeah, that D-line rotation. Whew,
all right, boys. Get
14.
ready to I'm just blowing up this draft in every way possible I can do it right now. I mean, this is going to be crazy, but follow me here, all right? So we got the Eagles trading up from 3 to 14 with the Ravens, and guess who they're giving up? AJ Brown and a second-round pick.
Wow.
So that they can move up to 14 to get their future wide receiver. I don't know how I'm going to make it work on this.
27 first, just to get a throw.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not going to work. But anyway, it's AJ Brown and pick 54 to move up to 14. The Ravens go out and get a true number 1 to pair with Zay Flowers, really capitalize on Lamar Jackson's Super Bowl window. And, they'll complement each other, very different styles. And then for the Eagles, they go out and they get Jordan Tyson to be the running mate of Devontae Smith. They opt to not go Lemon. They go Tyson, the more talented prospect. I know the injury concerns are there, but if there's any team that I think can figure it out and, start a new regime with just an absolute talent in Jordan Tyson, that's something I think could happen. I think it's crazy, but that's what I did, fellas. What do you think?
AJ Brown. So they hold on to pick 23. They hold on to 23, right?
The Ravens. No. The Ravens move back.
All right.
The Ravens should be at 23.
That's not the trade you made. You traded pick 51 and AJ Brown. So that's why I'm like, now the Eagles got 2 picks.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. Yeah. Sorry. I messed it up on my end. It should be AJ Brown. The Eagles are getting pick 14. The Ravens are getting.
All right.
I guess,
just do a trade to put the Ravens at 23 then.
I guess it shouldn't have been the second rounder. It should have been AJ Brown and pick 23 to move up to 14. Which I think is pretty fair, capitalized.
Personally, dude, I love that play. I really do. I actually love it. I think that works. I think it makes sense. The Tyson pick over a guy like Mai'Lemon, who I think is more similar to a Devontae Smith in that sense. I love the pick. I think Jordan Tyson's a stud. I think the only thing that's holding him back and making him fall to a spot like this is the injury concern. But I love the play. I think it works for both sides. I actually hate it as a Washington fan, but I do love the pick.
Yeah. What do you guys think capital wise? Do you think that that's enough to get it done? Brown and pick 23 to move up to 14?
I think the Eagles are going to get another pick back. I think
maybe
they'll get something else. Yeah. I think they're going to need a little bit more to move AJ Brown, but
agreed.
They're saying all the right things at the combine in terms of, we're working through things like, we want AJ on the team, great relationship, That just means they haven't hit the price point yet, right? They're not going to trade him away for pennies on the dollar. So I do think they'll get a pick back in that scenario as well. But you got to put a trade through right now to get the Ravens pick 23 in the background.
Yeah, when I get it back there, I'll make it that the Ravens are picking there at 23.
All right, so I'm on the clock here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is such an easy pick. Run the card to the podium. Kenyan Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon, just ran a sub 4.4, 4.39 at the combine at 6'3". The guy is built like the freaking Terminator. It's unbelievable. And you look at the type of prospect he is, standing at 6'3". This would be such a fun fit in that Bucs offense. And you're like, oh, well, they took Ibuka last year. And I'm like, I don't care, because Evans is a free agent. And although I absolutely think he's going to be back, you're going to have to start thinking about life after Evans and Godwin being your main two options in the passing game. And for right now, like, this just loading up with Baker Mayfield and that offense to win the division next year and try to make a run, right? So bring back Mike Evans out wide. You got Ibuka, you got Godwin, you got Tez Johnson, you got McMillan, you got some weapons out wide. But with Tate being a free agent too, and Kenyan Sadiq, man, I don't know. It's just a different level of prospect. I think he can absolutely go 15. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes a little bit higher.
I love it. It's hard for me to believe that the NFC doesn't run through Seattle's defense next year, and you got to find a way to beat them. You got to find a way to carve them up. You got to find a way to spread out their defense and execute. And Kenyan Sadiq's another way to do it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think, listen, they need edge bad. Like with Diaby being their sack leader at 7 last year, they need edge bad. But I don't think there's a prospect here at 15 that you're like can really be the huge difference maker for them. So I'm cool with them maybe going with a quote unquote luxury pick there in Sadiq, where I think he is going to probably go. Like that might be his floor now with how he tested off at the combine. Like I still think there's a world where like he could sneak up to like 10, if not like the top 10 at this point, the way he tested.
Hey, I thought you were going to trade up with the Eagles and take him at 14. I thought that's who you were moving up for, and I was pretty pissed off. So,
yeah, no, I don't know. Capital wise, like I think that's the only way you're moving up that far is with giving up AJ Brown. They'd have to give up a haul to do that.
Yeah, dude, I even think like the Rams, like that'd be an interesting fit for the Rams, a team that's under center a lot, like use tight end spot. I think that'd be an interesting fit. It's something to think about. Baltimore, if they don't move out, I think that's in play. For sure.
Yeah, especially with Likely's a free agent. So
yeah.
My thing is with a tight end like that, the versatility of them, you want the right play caller with it. So I would love the Rams with that pick, just because McVay would find a way to use him and maximize him. I mean, you see with like Brock Bowers last year, it doesn't matter how talented you are, you have to be in the right scheme specifically for the tight end position. So, and I think Tampa Bay's scheme is perfect for him. I really do, especially with the amount of talent around him. I love it.
All right, boys.
Man. The Jets.
I'm on the clock again with the Jets, and I'm ready to make some lemonade, boys. We're taking Mai'Lemon for the Jets. This pick makes too much sense. Outside of Garrett Wilson, I've been saying it a ton. Like, they don't have a ton of weapons on
Wait, no, this is Walmart's pick, dude. What the hell?
Definitely my pick.
He's doing every 3,
retarded.
7, 10, 13,
retarded.
16. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah, it's Walmart's pick. You just took Mai'Lemon. So, I mean, it's a good pick. I'm sorry. You got excited with your Jets.
In my mind, I had the Jets because of what we've been doing with this mock draft.
But you're good. You're good because I was going Mai'Lemon regardless. All
right, it works out.
You're good. You're good.
Great pick. Blow up the draft there.
Sorry, I had to take over to make sure you didn't do my boys dirty.
If it was Washington, I would have done the same shit.
Oh, God.
No, great pick, dude. Great pick. They need him. They need another weapon to pair alongside Garrett, regardless of who your quarterback is. You go get another threat like this. There's no one on the defensive on the board defensively right now outside of McCoy that would make me kind of lean that way. And I think Mai'Lemon is just too good to pass up on with what he did last year. So, hey, Reagan, man, great job.
Thank you. Do you want to take the Lions pick? I'm happy to give it to you.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. That was my pick, so you're good.
Oh, bro. Hey, I'm glad we agreed on that. I think in my mind, that was just like, oh, yeah, I got the Jets pick, and then I was just so giddy to do it again. Yeah. I mean, hey, the perks of your team having 2 first-rounders. But, yeah, I guess since I'm officially on the clock now, I think with Fano falling this far, I'm not going to have the Lions take him, but I am going to have the Houston Texans trade up to go and get, debatable the second best tackle in this draft. Like, it is such a big need for them. So I'm going to have Houston trading up to Detroit to take him there. The Lions trading back. Like, yeah, you can make a case that they could do it themselves, but, like, I don't necessarily know if that's the biggest need for them right now. Like, Sewell's still there. Decker's still under contract. So, the Lions pick up pick 38 doing this. They pick up basically that's what I'll have them do. The Texans are going to move up 11 spots, and the Lions get pick 28 and pick 38, and they'll throw in a 7th.
All right. I like it, man. That's a good move.
I love that move.
Fano on the board at 17. Yeah, I just felt like that slide had to end soon, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I could make the case for the Lions taking him, but I just think the Texans need him that much more. And like, it got to a point where they're like, "Hey, let's just go up and get debatable the best tackle prospect in this class." Like, I don't actually think he falls to 17 in the NFL draft, but the way the board's shaked up, it just makes too much sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I'm on the board here at 18. I'm going to stop another player slide for the Minnesota Vikings. Let's go Jermon McCoy, the corner out of Tennessee. This just value is just way too good to pass up. I was thinking about safety, but I thought you were going to take McCoy at 17 with Detroit, to be honest with you, given how Terry and Arnold's kind of not panned out for them. But we know Minnesota really needs help on the back end of that defense. Brian Flores schematically is a genius. There's no doubt about it. They're very well set along the edge and up front, but they need some help. And, they haven't necessarily hit on their secondary picks over the last few years. And Lewis Seen, Andrew Booth Jr. has been all right. But, yeah, McCoy, I just think he's way too talented. At pick 18, this is just purely a discounted value due to his knee injury. He's way too talented to be on the board here. So very easy pick for me with the Minnesota Vikings.
Couldn't agree more. I love those last two picks. I love them. Like, those are as good as it gets. I love the Texans trading up too. It's such a good move. I think here for the Panthers, let's address one of the biggest needs you guys have and go get Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. He had a solid combine. He looked great. He I think was top 6 in athleticism score for his position, and then like top 5 overall for his position. So he looked good, looked solid. Great size, great length, great speed. And just, with a defense that kind of needs help basically everywhere, it's just let's get the best guy available and take Keldrick Falk.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I mean, listen, Carolina does not have a good pass rush right now. I believe I'm almost positive Derek Brown was their sack leader last year, and he's not obviously an edge rusher. He's the beast on the interior. But their leading edge rusher in sacks last year, I just had it up, was Scorton, Nick Scorton, who they took in the second round with 5. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that edge rusher is just such a massive need for them. So I love that pick a lot, and hopefully he can develop and be that, double-digit sack guy. If the Panthers do want a chance to actually go farther than just a first-round exit.
Yeah, they need help along the D-line for sure.
All right, boys, I'm up with the Dallas Cowboys. Who would have thought that the Cowboys would have 2 first-rounders, but they certainly do. They certainly do. And obviously, who do we there's been so much chaos. Okay, they took Delane. That's what Delane. I thought.
Yep.
But
Delane.
wanted to make sure, I was informed in what I was doing. And for the Cowboys here, I mean, listen, defense. It seems like that is, right now some of the biggest needs they have. But I'm actually going to go a different direction here. Last year they addressed Tyler Booker at the guard position, but I still think their tackle positions need some help. I'm not sold on Steele long term. Even Tyler Guyton, I don't think is what they've hoped he would be. So I'm going to go with Caleb Lemieux out of Utah, the other tackle that played Lomu. You think after 7 mock drafts we'll have the pronunciations down, but I do have. It's going to take a while, and that's okay. I'm not in the business of pronouncing the right names. I'm in the business of just making the picks where they need to go. So, but I do think this fills in a big need for him. He'll probably end up sliding in at the right tackle position, with Booker and Guyton. But listen, can't just address defense in this draft for the Cowboys.
Damn, dude. I don't hate that, though. I think right tackle's absolutely in play for them. That's where I think Lomu would play. And, yeah, I mean, it's already a high-powered offense, We know Jerry Jones loves investing along the offensive line in the first round.
Yeah.
All right. I'm up at 21 with the Steelers. I'm not going to lie. I'm not digging how the board has fallen for them. It's a little tough, man. It's a little tough. I'm going to go along the offensive line. Obviously quarterback's not in play here. I don't want to go receiver. We did Denzel Boston last time. So I think it's a little rich for Omar Cooper at this point in time. So, oh my God, is there a fire outside Walmart?
It's New York City, dude.
Yeah, shit happens, dude.
That's funny.
I'm gonna go Caden Proctor here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tackle, guard, flexibility. We've talked about him a lot on the pod, and this kind of feels like where he's gonna go. I think Ty Simpson was kind of comparing him to a hippopotamus out of water, just with his strength and how fast he could run. And he joked around about that. It was pretty funny. But this guy is just a massive, massive human being. God doesn't make many like Caden Proctor. So for Pittsburgh Steelers, whether he could play tackle or guard, I think it's a huge upgrade. And, we'll see if he can develop, because we know he has the tools. We know he's a 5-star, but and he has several starts under his belt at Alabama. We also know he's got to clean up some things in his footwork and pass protection. So I think Pittsburgh would be a good landing spot for him to reach his full potential.
Jump me, man. That was gonna be yeah, good pick. Yeah,
At 22? Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually gonna have entertain the idea of New England trading up to go get someone like a Caden Proctor.
Ooh.
Morgan Moses, he's older. He did not look great in the Super Bowl. You just saw that O-line get absolutely harassed all game, and I think boosting up that O-line would have been helpful with a guy like Caden Proctor. But so great pick from Pittsburgh.
Hell yeah.
Morgan Moses, baby. Jets and Commanders legend.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, Colin, I was laughing when you brought up Ty Simpson. I'm like, oh, it's good I took him off the board. I don't think Steelers fans could deal with you taking Ty Simpson.
No, dude, we took Ty Simpson, and Steelers fans were so upset with us. They're like,
Were they?
Man, come on.
Yeah.
And Will Howard, they trust, man.
Yeah, they want to roll with Will Howard, and I get it, dude. This is that's right around where they swung and missed on Kenny Pickett. It was from Pittsburgh, so I don't know. All right, 22. What are we rolling with?
As a Will Howard dynasty holder, I wouldn't mind it, I will say. But for the Chargers here, I think if it's not a trade back scenario, I think the easy pick here is Avion Terrell. I think it's Terrell.
Yep.
He's the best corner on the board. They need corner help. They need help along, in the interior O-line side of things. But I think the way the board shook out, Terrell's the best guy on the board for their needs and for what they're looking for. So give me the best corner on the board, man.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with corner. And I agree, dude. You kind of look at how the board's shaking out, and it's like, look, Monroe Freeling is going to be a tackle. Like, absolutely. I think he's going to be a left tackle. So you're not going to kick him inside a guard. They're set at tackle as long as their guys stay healthy in Slater and Alt. So, yeah, there's really no interior lineman that I think they could go with here. And, anything on the defensive side, I think is in play. I think they go edge rusher as well. Maybe Akeem Messidor would make sense there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Dylan Thieneman. I mean, after his combine performance, he looks like a freak athlete in the back end. But they
need anyone
ways there. Yeah, if they can't go interior offensive line with how the board shook out, I think it's absolutely the right play fading that.
Yeah, I was thinking safety as well. I like that pick as well. I just like anything on the back end for me personally. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think that's good too, because I feel like we've gone offensive line for them so much. So I'm glad we're giving Chargers fans
there we go.
Different flavor today. Yeah.
So I did fix the Ravens Eagles stuff. The capital doesn't matter, but
attaboy.
So listen, for this pick, this solves a lot of needs, and with the Rams jumping them at 13 to take Peter Woods, they weren't able to draft him at 14, where I would have gone. So in this case, you trade back, you get AJ Brown, you get some more capital. And then you go out and get Caleb Banks to replace Mbadamike, who it sounds like he's going to retire from all the Reddit posts that my co-host has been reading.
Yeah, someone blamed me. They're like, dude, you get all your news from Reddit? I was like, no, I saw it on Twitter, first of all. Second of all, look it up. Look up the posts. What has come true about that post? John Harbaugh's no longer with the Ravens, and you haven't heard shit about Mbadamike. The guy's never playing again, I promise you. Well, I can't promise it, but that's what it says.
Yeah. So from what our on staff Reddit reporter's been saying, a lot of this has been coming true. So I think for the Ravens, it does fill a big need, and it really works out in this scenario because you still get yourself a stud D tackle in Caleb Banks. You get your Mbadamike replacement, and you pick up AJ Brown. So hell of a draft for the Ravens so far. It seems like time in and time out, the Ravens always end up getting great value in the first round and get a lot of good prospects. So once again, the Ravens have done it.
Damn, dude. Damn.
I like it.
All right, so I have the Browns again here, right? Didn't I have the Browns? I had them go Francis Mauigoa at 6.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what, dude? I'm going to freaking do it. I'm going to double dip at offensive tackle. We got Francis to play his natural right. Let's get Monroe Freeling to play his natural left for the Cleveland Browns. 2 bookend tackles in the same draft. Are you kidding me? And I think there's a world where absolutely Monroe Freeling goes anywhere from 11 to on. Like, I think that's kind of where his ceiling is, right? And I think at 24, the value is just too good to pass up. And, you know, even if they bring in a veteran, cool. Like, I don't think they're going to walk into the draft with without a starting left or right tackle, right? But they're building this for the future. And if Freeling's got to sit for a little bit, or maybe they can kick a veteran inside to guard if it pans out this way, you figure it out later, right? Just get good, strong, big fucking bodies in that room and watch them develop. So for the Browns, we're going to double dip a tackle and try to solve that problem for the long term.
Love it. Love it. Protect your guy. Protect your moneymaker. Protect your young quarterback that hopefully they believe in. And yeah, I see that totally in the cards for Cleveland.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. That's and that's funny because last mock we had the same thing for Cleveland going tackle. But when you have 5 of your starting 5 offensive linemen set to be free agents, it makes the possibility very likely. And especially when you have an elite defensive unit like the Browns do, it makes it that more likely that they're going to go offensive players with both picks.
Yep. Chicago, I think they kind of have a home run scenario here. I think a guy like Dylan Thieneman is someone that's going under the radar because of how good Caleb Downs is. He just ran a 4.35. He's got the size.
Dude.
He's 21 years old. He can come down and hit. I mean, and for a secondary and a back end that needs a little bit of juice, and with an offense that looked as good as they did under Ben Johnson, I don't think they need much more help there. Their O-line looks really good. Their weapons look really good. They might be able to supplement through free agency. Go get a stud on the back end, and a guy that I think is really falling in this draft because, one, it's not a position of necessarily high value, and there's also arguably the best player in the draft also at that position, and is allowing him to kind of go overlooked in a lot of ways. So I think it's a home run pick for Chicago.
I love that.
Yeah, dude, that's a great pick. They need help in the back end of that defense for sure, and they got some pending free agents. So I think we went Emmanuel McNeil-Warren in the last iteration, so it's good to get a different safety there.
Yeah, I like that too. Yep, yeah. That 4.35 though, that jumps off the page for me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was a hell of a performance out of him at the combine. Yeah. So did McNeil-Warren as well, but Thieneman kind of stole the show.
Yeah, yep.
And listen, I mean, this is why we do this post-combine thing. That was not a guy I don't think we've had in the first round in any of our mock drafts.
Exactly. Yeah, so, I think he's definitely going round 1 now.
Yep.
So I'm up with Buffalo here. Everyone's probably like, "Oh, he's going wide receiver. He's going wide receiver."
Oh my! I'd argue staring at you.
And I would argue that wouldn't be a bad pick. But what I will say and what I will counter with is, edge is such a big need for this team as well. Like everyone's just saying, like them not having a wide receiver for Josh Allen is why. But also when you look at the fact that they only had 36 sacks last year, which isn't even 2 sacks a game. And, old man, injury-prone Joey Bosa had 5 and Gregory Rousseau had 7. And then you got Matt Milano at 3.5. It's like, whoa, that's a big issue for this team. And if you want to have a chance to beat the elite AFC teams and, Patrick Mahomes and get pressure on him, you're going to need to get an edge rusher. So I know he's an older prospect, but he's a beast, and he dominated at Florida. Give me Mesidor to be their edge rusher.
Miami,
I don't care.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida. Like Florida, the state. Miami, fuck. All right, whatever. Yeah, I meant Miami, but I said Florida. I was looking at the FL quickly.
Like, I'm a Gator fan, dude. Enough of that. Yeah.
Yeah. No disrespect to the Gator fans out there. But this guy was a beast at Miami. He was Ruben Bain's running mate, dominated in the playoffs, and I think it fills a massive need for Buffalo. I think everyone's just assuming they're going to go wide receiver. I don't think that's the case at all. I think you could argue both are big needs, but listen, when your top 2 edge rushers are 7 and 5 and Joey Bosa is a guy that's been injured and older, like you need to go out and address that position big time.
So what I will say to that is I think I only like that if they go get someone in free agency that's worthwhile. Because it comes a point in time when your quarterback, arguably the best quarterback in the league, MVP caliber guy who's 29 years old now, it's getting to a point where you got to find a way to win. You got to surround him with as many weapons as possible. When you look at all these other teams, all these other guys that find a way to win, they have an elite number one for the most part. They have, whether it's some sort of pass catcher, some sort of weapon. Josh Allen, your number one weapon cannot be Khalil Shakir. It simply cannot. So if they go out and find someone in the free agency, I like to pick a lot more. If they don't, and they go anywhere other than wide receiver, we have an issue in Buffalo. That's for certain.
Don't you worry. Brandon Beam will have you covered in a couple picks. I have another trick up my sleeve. Don't you worry.
Yeah, well, Brandon Beam might find a way to trade up to 5 and draft Casey Concepcion. So I don't really know. I mean, the guy should have been fired a long time ago.
Hey, so Messidor at 26, that's just great value, right? He's a 25-year-old prospect. That's why he's on the board there. But from the talent standpoint and his production at Miami, like that's a hell of a pick for Buffalo. And I'm seeing, as I saw this morning, that Buffalo's linked to Rashid Shaheed and Romeo Dobbs as they're trying to fish in that second tier free agent wide receivers, and they're going to aggressively try to fix that in free agency. So I don't feel like they're going to walk in the draft where it's like desperate need for a wide receiver. Of course, they could add a young one for sure, but I think they absolutely can go edge rusher. So I don't hate that pick. All right, I got the Niners here at 27, man, and woof. I'm not digging the board for the Niners and how this is shaken out. Man, I think I went Lee. Did I go Lee Hunter last time, Reagan? I think I went Lee Hunter.
You went
and
Lee
I
Hunter.
think I don't think Niners fans were too pleased with me, to be honest.
Like every mock draft I'm seeing has them going Lee Hunter, the guy.
So I'm not gonna go Lee Hunter. I'll spare the Niners fans. How about Omar Cooper Jr., man? Guy known for his yak ability, similar to Debo when he had his prime years in San Francisco. I just think Kyle Shanahan really values that because Purdy's so good at facilitating the ball and getting the ball to guys in stride where they can make plays after the catch, and that's Omar Cooper Jr.'s game, dude. You know, I think he's going to be a first rounder. I like him better than his running mates at Indiana for sure, Surratt. So, yeah, I think Omar Cooper Jr. really fits in with what the Niners want. Very clearly, Brandon Ayuk is gone. Jawan Jennings, a big step back in 2025. Ricky Pearsall can't stay on the field. Kittle coming off a torn Achilles. They need weapons, dude. And also McCaffrey is going to be 30 years old. So, yeah, let's go Omar Cooper Jr. here for the Niners. Hopefully you like that better than a run-stuffing D-tackle, Niners fans.
I like that better. I definitely
do like
that better.
Yep.
You know, listen, their wide receiver core has kind of been in shambles like really quickly with, you know, Pearsall's just not being able to stay healthy, and the fact that Ayuk basically is just off the team now. It sounds like I guess it's not official, like they didn't cut him yet, did they? But he's gone.
No, but he's gone for sure.
Like,
yeah, he's gone.
So
yep.
You know, wide receiver now becomes a big need for them. Like Jawan Jennings is pretty good, but he's getting up there in age too. Like Kittle's coming off the injury, so I think another pass catcher is definitely in play there at 27.
Has Nick Bosa's injury concern worried you at all? Obviously he's dominant and he's freakish when he's on the field. He's one of the best players in the league. But like the injury concern, is it something to keep an eye on when it comes to the draft? Time?
I think for sure, man. You know, he's atop his position when he's healthy, right? But I absolutely think defensive line is very much in play for the Niners. Like if Messidor was there, I probably would have went Messidor, to be honest with you. I think edge could be in play. I think interior defensive line could be in play. You know, I think they could attack the secondary. I really think they go anywhere on defense because they had so many key departures post 2024. But I also think they need help at wide receiver and just the way the board looked. Like I'm not going to go linebacker, even though I like CJ Allen a lot. But yeah, even Anthony Hill had a really good combine. I just don't think, you know, I don't think his tape's good enough to warrant round one, but they can go various options for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
28.
This is technically my spot, but
yeah,
okay.
You got Detroit.
Right, cool.
Yeah, let it fly with Detroit.
Okay, so I'm really in between two guys here. I think with Detroit, it's got to be defense, in my opinion. It's got to be either D-line or corner because those are the two biggest needs, in my opinion, for him. I do like Caden McDonald a lot. My issue is with him is his youth. He's super young. He's only 20 years old. He hasn't had a lot of burn. And for a team like the Lions, who's more in a win now situation, I'm going to go with a guy like Colton Hood, who I think is getting super downplayed, super underrated. He's a stud, and he can walk into Detroit and become their corner one day one. And so I think a guy like that, he stands out to me on the board for them, and I think he's a home run pick for him. Obviously it's a risk. Anything gets risky towards his back end of the first round, but I'm going to take a guy like Colton Hood over the 20-year-old DT that, I see maybe a little bit less value in.
I like that, honestly.
Great pick. Great pick.
It works out pretty well for them in that situation. So I'm definitely a fan of that. So, hey, let's go. Let's go. I like that. All right, so let's move on to the Rams. Obviously earlier in the draft, we went with the D tackle. How am I blanking on his name already? Peter Woods. Yeah, I already went on a rant before about another team, with Peter Woods. But anyway, the Rams go with Peter Woods. There's no tight end I really love here. Like, they could go wide receiver. But you know what? Yeah, I am going to go wide receiver here. I'm going to go with Casey Concepcion. I think he adds a different dynamic that this team currently doesn't have in the wide receiver position. Like Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, as elite as they both are, neither are burners. Neither have ever been known for their speed. And one thing Concepcion is known for is his speed. So it adds a whole new dynamic to that wide receiver core. And also, Adams isn't going to be around long term. Like, he's got another year, maybe 2 left. So this is also more of a long-term play as well.
Yep.
All right, man. That's a good pick. I can't hate on that one. That speed is just a different element to what Puka and Adams have. So it's a good pick. All right. I'm here 30 for the Denver Broncos. Last time we went CJ Allen. I think we went CJ Allen both of the previous mocks. Yeah. And, I do think that's an awesome pick, but I'm not going to go that route this time. I'm going to go Caden McDonald because he's still on the board here at 30, more of a run-stuffing D tackle. And we know Denver can stop the run. They're one of the league's best, but doesn't mean you should stop adding dominant defensive linemen to that rotation, right? And I think McDonald certainly can grow as a pass rusher, but that run-stuffing ability, I think, how about that counter to the Chiefs adding Jeremiah Love earlier in this draft is getting another guy for that defensive front in McDonald. I just think 30 is too good a value to pass up. And honestly, the linebacker class is really deep. There's a lot of good ones that I think they can get a linebacker later on, but they won't find a player like McDonald further down the board.
Wow. That worked out well for the Broncos there, and I think that does fill a big need in what they want to do on that defensive side of the ball. So even with him being a little bit younger, like Walmart was saying before, like, fills a big need, adds to an already elite defense. They just get that much better.
Yeah, and that's a great point that you brought up and that Walmart mentioned his age. It's like, hey, that's a good landing spot for him because he could be a rotational guy out the jump. Absolutely. The defensive front is so damn good, but they do need help on the interior, I think.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, like McDonald going into a Lions system, it's like you have to start him right away. But with a Denver system of being one of, if not the best defense in the league, you can let him learn, let him grow, and hopefully turn into what you're picking him at.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
So with New England, I really, really considered taking Blake Miller here. I just because I do think that with the way that O-line looked, it was scary to me in that Super Bowl. But I do think a guy like TJ Parker's a better pick and a higher need for them at this time. And so I'll go ahead and take TJ Parker from Clemson, versatile edge, he's good size, good length, great speed. And for a team that kind of needs that, and you saw it in the Super Bowl with Kenneth Walker doing virtually whatever he wanted, you need a little bit of help up front.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely in play for them. And like you said, I mean, they need some more edge pressure. They need some more run stopping. So I think, New England does need to build up more on their defensive trenches for sure. All right, boys, the final pick in the mock draft. I said I had something up my sleeve, and I certainly do. I have the Buffalo Bills trading back into number 32 with the Seattle Seahawks.
How the hell are they going to do that?
Wide receiver. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to explain it right now, boys. But Keon Coleman will be going back in this deal. I think his time in Buffalo is cooked at this point. I think something Seattle needs is a big body wide receiver to pair with JSN. They get that in Keon Coleman. So they're going to get
Okay.
Keon Coleman. They're going to get 2 seconds. So they're going to get a second this year and a second next year, plus Keon Coleman for pick number 32.
Wow.
Likely to reject. Is going to, okay, I actually have to make it work. But basically, yeah. So Buffalo gets pick 32. Seattle gets 2 seconds, and Keon Coleman fills a big need for both teams. And then who are the Bills going to take? That's probably the question you're asking me right now, right? Does anyone want to know who they're taking?
You're going to go, I don't know if you're going to go receiver because we've had 5 already go off the board. Denzel Boston, perhaps?
I am. Wow. There you go. You answered my question.
There you go.
You answered the riddle. In Denzel Boston, the Bills go and get another big body wide receiver. This guy's 6'4". I understand Bills fans might be like, oh, we had Keon Coleman. We spent the capital on him, a big body wide receiver. Listen, it didn't work out. When the GM's publicly calling him out and all this stuff, like it's not good. So I think Keon Coleman's days are numbered in Buffalo. I think this makes a lot of sense for them. He gets a fresh start in Seattle. Seattle gets the big ball wide receiver, and then the Bills go and get their number 1. They fill 2 big needs in this draft. And yeah, maybe they give up some assets, but at the end of the day, it does not matter assets if you can't win it anyway. So they're in win now mode. So the Bills make some win now moves.
Hey, that's a ballsy play, man. I like that you're getting players involved in these trades.
I do like that. I like that pick a lot. I do. Hey, you promised me they were going to address wide receiver. I'm happy they did. I will say I think Denzel Boston is not very similar to Keon Coleman, really, just outside of the size. So Bills fans, go turn on Denzel Boston's tape. He doesn't come off to me like a Keon Coleman replica. So I think that's a good pick. I think it's a good switch up. And, if you're holding on to Shakir, pairing him up with a big body guy like that, hopefully it works out this time.
Yeah, and I'm more so saying you just know Bills fans, like the casuals, are gonna be like, "Oh, you were trading away a 6'4" wide receiver to draft another 6'4" wide receiver." Like you already know how that's gonna go with the casual fans.
Yeah, damn, dude, look at that board. This one got spicy, huh? Much different from mock 5.0 and 6.0. Damn, dude, a lot of trades. I like the players get involved in the trades. Walmart, thanks for coming on again, man. That was a lot of fun. So spice it up a bit, mix it up, a little 3-man mock. That was a good time.
Damn right, fellas. I appreciate you having me on, man. It was a blast. I love the way this board looks. I would like it a little bit more if Sonny Styles fell to 7, but we'll see in due time. So, who knows?
You're the one that traded up to 4. It took Sonny Styles.
Because I knew someone was going to take him in New York, and I'm not letting that happen.
He was gone. He was not going to last a 7 no matter what. Felt fans, hit the comments. Funny. Let us know what picks you love. What picks you hate even more. We love the banter. Make sure you make sure you subscribe. Check out our previous mocks. We'll be back soon on Around the Felt Sports.